Aromie here. Welcome back to our life. We are here reminiscing about everyone that isn't here at the breakfast party. Let's go and say Shiloh. Shiloh's another person who I would have invited. Liz stared at you blankly for several seconds before covering her mouth with her hand and laughing hard. Lowering her hand, she shook her head. Change of heart, huh? I thought you didn't want to speak to him again. Well, that was a long time ago, and it'd still be fitting for him to be here. Code's mouth wobbled nervously. He shrugged, unsure of what to make of your suggestion at all. Those two men definitely never became close. Oh, that was a very short one, and it is too bad Baxter is missing from this. Code turned to you with a genuinely thoughtful look. He rubbed his forearm while he composed his thoughts. I think I'd be up for seeing him again. It'd be kind of interesting to see what Baxter would be like now. Yeah, I think so too. He'd at least have a ball with everyone gathered today. Oh yeah, Baxter was that cool guy with the eyes, shirt, and the fancy rental car, right? I liked him. He was pretty nice. Yes, he was iconic. It's too bad he had to mysteriously disappear and never be heard from again. But maybe that makes him even more of an icon. Yep, you left things there. There was a playfulness in Kara's stare as she scanned the room. She slowly placed her index finger on her chin. Now that I think of it, there's something I haven't done in a while. Eyebrows were raised at Kara's incomplete thought. She was wordlessly urged to continue. Kara didn't hesitate. Look through all the photos Cliff has here. Wouldn't that be fun for all of us? What? Mom, why would you say that? Practically all those photos are of me. And that's why. Embarrassing my baby boys is one of the perks of being a mom. Much to Cliff's dismay, his mom was thoroughly entertained at his outburst. She winked in your direction. Meanwhile, Cliff eagerly stood up with all of a proud affection for his son and completely missed Kyra's teasing intent.
Oh.
I think that's a great idea. Anyone else interested in the pictures?
Yeah!
Of course everyone's going to. Lee shot her hand up before Cliff could even take a full step. Terry and Miranda snuck each other a glance before nodding with matching grins. That sounds swell.
That's fantastic.
That would be lovely, Cliff. Mom tried to hide her amusement behind her hand, but she couldn't stop the sneaker that slipped out. Oh boy. I've seen them all before, but they never get old. I want to see them. He shrugged nonchalantly, nodded. Poor Cove, everyone loves to pick on you. I think this one would be silly. Only out of love. A snort and giggle slipped out of Liz before she could hide her mouth with her hand. She shook her head, feeling embarrassed by Kara's knowing smile and unwavering gaze. Of course. Cove buried his face in his hands and sighed slowly. His shoulders played in heavy. Fine, we can take a look. Everyone happy with picture time? Yay!
Fun!
Yes! They both excitedly raised a fist in victory. Smaller cheers worked their way around the room. Your friends and family were delighted with this turn of events. Mr. Holden flipped open his faded album of physical pictures. I thought it said features. He held it up to his face. The corners of his eyes crinkled, and though the book covered much of his face, you were certain he was smiling fondly. But he didn't keep it to himself for long. Laying the family album on the dining table, you and the rest of the party gathered around to get a peek. Oh, what is this photo? He looks so grumpy. Or tired. Maybe tired. The first picture on the first page was baby Cove in a cute little onesie. There were several coos and ahs from the group, and Cliff's eyes were shining with tears as he sniffled. He's grown so much. Cove was such a cute kid. That's my darling angel. Nice onesie, Cove. How precious. Even as baby looked unimpressed. You smile enjoying the view. There's no laughing one. You smiled enjoying the view. I don't want to tease him any further. I'll smile. It was even sweeter to observe everyone else's reaction. They continued to praise and tease Cove over his younger years. Meeting Cove's stare, his pout deepened. The tips of his ears turned pinker the longer you noticed him. He wasn't enjoying the acute attention, and you understood that feeling, but you could also tell that he wasn't as distressed about it as he was projecting. Cove was fittingly acting a bit like a baby. After breakfast in the photo showcase, everyone decided to stick around. Hanging around Mr. Holden's house turned into taking a walk around the neighborhood, and then for lunch you switched over to your mom's condo. It was a really good time, enjoying each other's company, but eventually the sun began to set, and there was nothing else to delay your friends and family from going home. Inside your mom's house, the home you had been raised in, the group was taking their time saying their goodbyes. It was tough for you, your family, your friends. You knew what was weighing on the mood. It might be some time before you to see one another again. It was a pleasure having you all here, and you're welcome to come around anytime. Mom wrapped an arm around Mom with a light chuckle. Mom leaned her head gently into her wife and they both beamed.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I know we're all adults and with our own hectic lives, but we appreciate the time taken to visit. Snorting, Liz crossed her arms. She leaned one hip out to the side while her lips curled teasingly. You make it sound like this was such a struggle. Some of these people still live here, and it was a vacation for everyone else. Even so, it was very thoughtful, and I hope everyone has a safe trip home. Kyra clapped a hand on Cliff's shoulder. He was puzzled as she leaned in so he could hear her. That means you too. It's dangerous crossing the street. Remember to look both ways. Hey now! Yeah. Good luck with all the important grown-up things that I'm sure you'll have to do when you're all out of here. Definitely. I'll give updates next time something exciting happens or something lame so I can vent about it. How nice. I'm glad you won't be forgetting the little people. Never ever.
Very nice.
What did you say? I'll keep in touch too.
Very nice.
You better. Well, me and Randy aren't going far, so we can keep an eye on the town for the rest of you. Nothing will get past us. Right, we'll make sure everything is okay. No need to worry at all.
Thanks.
That's kind of you. Miranda and Terry gave each other pleased smiles, already committing to their self-appointed task. Derek scratched the back of his head, wearing a pensive look. It's always sad when I have to leave this town. It happens too often, but at least there will be people looking out for Sunset Bird. That makes me feel better about it. After a pause, Mr. Holden gave the younger folks a thumbs up.
Great.
That's all great. You've got a lot to be proud of, and a lot to be looking forward to. Well said, Cliff. I'm thankful that I've been privileged to witness the growth you've undergone over the years. You've each matured beautifully. Cove was touched by his parents' words and struggled to come up with something to follow. Yeah, it's been good seeing everyone. No one had taken a step yet, and you couldn't put this off any longer. It was time to say goodbye. So again, I'll miss you. This was fun. Thanks for being here. I'm so glad we got to do this. I'm glad we got to do this. Me too. Today was even better than I imagined. I don't know what we're gonna do without the kids around. I know, they keep us young. We're not that old. Some of us still got it. She winked at Cliff teasingly and he shook his head. Both of your moms laughed at that, and you caught several more cracks of smiles among your friends. Afterwards, there was more sniffling and hugs, and a lot of hugs. Then people started trailing out into the street, seeing others off. Your friends and family got into their cars and left the neighborhood. By the time things had fully settled, you realized that the sun had set. Earlier, you and Cove decided on having a car pick you both up. Neither of you wanted to bother your parents after such a long day. It would be a little while longer before it would be there, though. It was the right choice, as both sets of parents shot your weary looks. The floor seemed ready to call it a night. It didn't take either you or Cove very long to assure them that it was okay to head home and go to bed. With one more round of goodnight and goodbyes, your families returned to their condos. Then the only people left in the street were you and Cove. Cove closed his eyes, humming happily. While he waited for it to pass, he stared up at the sky. The moment was comforting, but suddenly your face scrunched up, bemused. Something was wrong, something that made you feel somewhat empty. And then it dawned on you. Your wind chime wasn't here anymore. The feeling of the wind washing over the street just wasn't right without that familiar tune. But you had taken it with you in the move. With a bittersweet smile, you knew that you'd be able to hear it again when you got home. Cove's hands were in his pockets, and his shoulders were relaxed when he caught your attention with a tilt of his head.
So...
Can you guess what I'm thinking? Well, at the moment, you were in the neighborhood you grew up in together, with some time to spare. The corner of your mouth curled into a grin. Cove made things too easy for you. Yet the fireflies are out?
Right.
Do you want to go to the poppy hill before we leave? Yes, please! I thought we were gonna go see it, sooner than we have, but apparently we haven't. Always. There was an eager bounce in your step as you and Cove crossed over towards the hill behind your mom's house. Side by side, you stared out at the view in awe. As you imagined, the hill was dotted with glowing firefly light. It perfectly reflected the memories of childhood held closely in your mind. Cove sighed contentedly, seeing them across the hill, weaving in around the blades of grass and the stars above. Cove cocked his head to the side before his expression was twisted playfully when he met your eye. You were about to prod him about what was on his mind when he took off running. I thought I'll catch one first. Oh, it's on! You laughed and watched him try to catch one instead. You cheered him on, you went chasing after the next firefly that caught your eye. Bro, no, we're going to catch one too. A particularly bright firefly zipped past your face, and you just couldn't let it go. You chased after it all over the hill. Every so often, you and Cove would pass by each other, moving in opposite directions. This time you gave his shoulder a light shout to get his attention. Any luck? Not yet. The pursuit for fireflies continued with a handful had been caught. Cove crossed over to you with a bright grin that could rival every twinkling bug and star around you. Cupped between both his hands, Cove carefully held a firefly. The corners of his mouth twisted before a few giggles escaped him, and you knew that feeling well. The way the firefly would buzz around, tickling the palms of your hands. Cove's eyelids fluttered open, meeting yours. He watched you with a complicated mix of emotions, heavy with the weight of 15 years of history of memories. It's really a relief that I got to see the fireflies. This trip wouldn't have felt complete without it. You're so right. The light breeze tousled your hair, content you were grateful that Cove made this suggestion. If he hadn't done this, I would have felt like something was missing once I got home. Me too. Taking a deep breath, Cove held your eye. He appeared to be conflicted about what he wanted to say next, and you waited for him to make his choice. It's so strange not to live here anymore. Most of my life, neither of us were ever really away from Sunset Bird. Well, unless one of us went on a trip somewhere. Or when both of our families took trips together. Remember that? He chuckled, losing himself to fond reminiscing. You couldn't help but match his grin. I like that road trip one a lot. Though I don't think we all could squish into that RV again. We're way too big. Laughing, Cove shook his head. His brow creased the longer he sat with the thoughts of spinning in his brain. Those visits back with my mom, I remember what a big deal they felt like then. To be away from here without anyone else coming for a whole few weeks. Oh, how little I knew. What did you used to tell your mom about me when we were on those trips together? We were so innocent then, you nodded. No, I'm curious. What did you tell your mom? They're a little off-kilter. Cove hadn't been expecting that question at all. Both of his eyebrows raised, and a part of you wondered if he had somehow spoken gibberish instead. Honestly, I've been wondering about it since I was 13. Kyra always kept the details to herself, and you never said a word either. Mostly, I'd just tell her about the times we hung out, and since you were obviously there when things happened, I didn't have to tell you. That's true. But I would be really enthusiastic about it when I was telling her what happened, because... you know, you're an important friend to me. The time we spent together was important. So, I definitely would have been embarrassed if my mom told you any of that. I really appreciate that she kept it to herself. Oh, I think that's nice. All of it. Thanks. Thank you for telling me. After that, Cove became quiet, simply gazing into your face. The way the lights around sparkled in his eyes reminded you of moonlight reflecting off the waves in the ocean. There's a depth to it that could hardly grasp. A part of you felt compelled to speak, to do something, but you were entrenched. Cove held you completely in place as much as the firefly. His next words came out as a whisper. I love fireflies. Every time I see them, it makes me happy. It makes me think of you. The lasting eye contact finally broke as Cove let his eyes shift towards the hill. Fireflies and you are linked together in my head so strongly because of all the times we spent together with them, and because... they're kind of like the feelings I have for you on the inside made real. A soft, warm light that's fluttery and tingly and all around me. That's so cute. He faced you completely once more. Bro, are you crying? His eyes were now glossy and even fuller with abundant affection. Cove, if you're crying on me, I don't think I can handle it. Oh, he's showing me the firefly he caught. Cove then opened his hand, holding a firefly settled there towards you. He was wholeheartedly offering it to you. The significance of the gesture wasn't lost on you after he confessed what fireflies truly meant to him. Suddenly struck with emotions, the words cracked in Cove's throat. He smiled wryly and continued on. That night, the summer when I moved, where we all went to catch fireflies, was one of the first truly, completely, purely happy memories in Sunset Bird. Even when I had good days back then, I was so sensitive, I usually ended up getting upset over something at some point. I'm guessing you can remember that. He chuckled softly himself, and your mouth curved into a smile. Sure, Lizzie got kind of bossy near the end of the mini-adventure, but that time it didn't matter. I wanted to run around and play with you, and her and Shiloh too. I wanted to be there. It was amazing. He closed his eyes, sorting through all the emotions you were certain were swirling inside him. You know, that night years ago, the one after the Orca event where I snuck into your room with the firefly, I wanted to tell you what I said here.
I'm always like this.
About what fireflies meant and about the feelings I have for you, but I didn't. I couldn't. Oh, so he was about to confess even sooner. Not directly, but at least it was implied. A little bit. He shifted on his feet, remembering his prior shyness brought out a sheepish countenance in Cove during the present. Then Cove's stuttering laughter burst out from his tension. I was able to do it though, eventually. I'm glad I did. I'm glad he gave me a chance and the time to take it. And this is where we're going to stop for today's episode, because I don't know where this is leading up, but it very sounds like ending. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I will see you guys in the next one.